Hello, Josh, Sam, and anyone else who's watching. Welcome back to Lviv and Let Die. It's been a while, but it's still 2019. We've had a Christmas break in real life, and many things have happened. The season that I think I recorded last has been and gone, and so we'll go and look at that. But you've got to close your eyes quickly. There we go. So this is what happened last season. We were finishing 7th. We started like an absolutely in fact, was there a season before that as well? In fact, do you know what? We might have finished 9th and then had another season in between. I can't really remember. But anyway, so yeah, there you go. We finished 7th last season with a pretty good positive goal difference. And now we are top of the league. So we are top of the league. 3 games left to play. We're going to go through and do a little bit of a history of that, and then we will play 2 games. It's going to be a bumper episode, guys. So let's go back. I'm pretty sure that this was the season where we last spoke. We finished 9th. Let's see the fixtures from that season and see what happened. So we were starting off dreadfully. Picked up quite well. Not bad there. And then I think I had a conversation with Sam in real life where I said, if we just... we've had all our hard games. All we need to do now is win all of our easy games, and we should finish strongly. Unfortunately, there you can see Dnipro, quite a difficult game, lost 2-0 at home. We drew 0-0 with Tavria. We lost 2-1 to Chernomorets. We lost 1-0 to Arsenal Kiev. Drew 3-3 with Sevastopol. So we had some very dodgy results in there. 1-1 with Ilichevets and 2-2 with Govela, who are terrible. I'm pretty sure Volin ended up that season as finishing surprisingly high. Nope, they were below us. So there you go. That's what I mean. We had some very poor results. But on the flip-flop side of that, we did have some good progress in the Ukrainian Cup. We beat Desna away 2-0. Roskov, who's a youngster who I don't think even plays for us anymore. No, he's not very good. He left to Zirka, and who else played? Because I think he does still play. Ozarkiv, yeah, he's still in the under-21s. They both scored on their debuts. We then played in the 3rd round against Kremin, where Roskov scored again, as well as 2 other players here. We'll go through all the transfers that have been in and out in a moment. And then we got through to the quarterfinal where we played Krivbas, and Roshkov scored again, and we won 2-1. Casado, who's a player who's been and gone, I think, in the time I've been doing this, it put us through to the semi-final where we played Shakhtar Donetsk. We drew 2-2 after extra time. We drew 2-2, and then in extra time they scored 2 more goals to knock us out. Excuse me, sniff. And then we finished the season off with a 4-1 loss against Dynamo Kiev. Last season, I did a lot of work in terms of buying and selling players. We started looked like we were going to start well, and then we had an absolutely dreadful 3-game start of the season. Govela, we lost 4-3 away. We then lost 6-4 at home against Krivbas, and then we lost 3-1 to Metalist. We did pick up a little bit, a couple of wins over a couple of decent sides before a dodgy run there. I mean, all of those games should have been winnable. Karpaty were not good last season, and the other teams, I think Metalurg and Obolon, both got relegated. So, not impressive. But we did go through it again in the Ukrainian Cup. We won on penalties after Mikhailo Spak scored against Zirka. Which set us up for another run of poor results, although we did finally win a 4-0 against Chernomorets before we played second division Helios Kharkiv in the 3rd round, and then that did spark a little bit of good form where we scored, 15 goals in, it's not quite 15, but a number of goals in 4 games before losing away to Ilichevets. After Christmas, we had a string of... There was a much more sort of difficult second half of the season there. We went through all the way to the quarterfinals of the Cup, where we beat Odessa 3-0, Roshkov scoring again, before we then lost to Dnipro in the semi-finals 2-0, which was a shame. And then we finished the season off fairly strongly, and that was the season where we came 7th. So certainly improvement if you look at the scores there. We ended up only ended up 2 places higher, but we were actually 11 points better off. So there was slight sort of shoots of recovery for Lviv after coming fifth in our first season in the Premier League. Let's look at the transfers, because we've made and sold a lot. We've brought in a lot of players, we've sold a lot of players, and we've had a lot of money coming in and out of the club. So if we go back a couple of years, this is the year that that you would have seen. Some old favourites. Ballon went. Oh no, hang on. Am I too far back? No, that's correct. Yeah, so you'll have remembered that Ballon went, Yantorno went, Vergara went. We also lost a couple of other players who I don't even really remember. Ronaldo went, and yeah, so okay, I do. So yeah, and then in January we sold a lot of players in an attempt to make some money. So we sold Ronaldo, Radosevic, Parvanov went off to Dinamo Barnaul. Where are they? Then Georgia, Russia. Okay. Ndai left, Aziz left, Requena, he was actually quite a good player. He left and now plays for Wolfsburg. He's really good. He's a very good player. He's had a couple of moves since he left us. Prochatska, I don't remember him being any good, and he wasn't that good, but he technically was good. It's one of the many, we have quite a few of those annoying players. Because there's only 30 games and there's only one cup competition, we don't have very much chance to rotate players, so we go through quite a lot of players who just get pissed off with not being able to play. And then we signed, I don't even know if you remember this guy, but we signed a guy called Milomir Todorovic. We signed him for free. We sold him for $2.5 million, and then to Swindon, who then released him on a free the year later. I mean, it's so poor bloke. Anyway, he went off to Swindon. Didn't make the grade in the Premier League. Using the money that we brought in, we did buy a few players. So you'll see that we brought in. Will you remember any of these guys? So there was Carlos Daniel Fernandez, who has already moved on. We'll talk about him in a minute. But he came in as a centre-back option. There was also Andre Perez, who came in and has already left, off to Sevastopol. We'll talk about him in a moment. Then we signed in a couple of players who actually did make the grade. So we signed Tinguinia, who has unfortunately moved on, but was a good player. Tinguinia, great finishing. He played for us for 1.5 seasons. Didn't score loads of goals, but he was a good presence in the team, and a nice player, Tinguinia. And then he left to Leeds, as you saw. We brought in Roberto Royas, who I think has also left. He came in and we sold him for so we signed him for 230,000. He did well as a kind of backup left midfielder, and then we sold him for 3.6 million. Not bad at all. Then there was another player coming in from Wanderers in Uruguay, Juan Carlos Gonzalez. He hasn't played very much this season because he just doesn't seem to play very well, but he is very good, as you can see there. So we'll be playing him a bit more in the next year and possibly selling him, maybe, who knows. We then signed Sergio Florian, who was Uruguayan when I signed him, but is now Italian, and Ginger. He initially had some problems settling, but has played well for us as our backup right midfielder ever since. And he's a decent little acquisition. I think being as he's 20 and he plays fairly regularly, he'll get a little bit better there. And hopefully we'll be able to make some money on him. And then we signed this guy. He actually came in an enforced loan from Zenit, because Zenit are now one of our parent clubs. We have two. Charlton Athletic are the other. So Konstantin Kulesha came in. He didn't score for us, but he did play a couple of. Did he score? No, he only played twice. I didn't really want him, so it's not like that's not one of my usual things where I sign them and don't play them just because I'm stupid like that. I didn't want him in. He filled a gap though, and then we signed also Casado, who, as you can see, has also moved on. Signed him for free. He played 6 games, got 3 assists, and we sold him for £1.5 million to Lira. So that was that season. Then now we're gonna there's gonna be a lot of stuff going on here, right? So there are some players that you'll notice here who you'll recognise. So players out. Mao, a player who you'll remember, we signed him for free. He played 3 good years for us as a left back. Never really super impressing, but doing okay. We sold him on to Varta Poznan for £350,000, and he doesn't look happy about it, but that's just the way life is, mate, sorry. Then we sold Stevan Gneidic to Varta as well for £1.4 million, where he has gone. He's another player who I signed on a free. He was complaining that he didn't get game time. because he's too good for the under 18s, but he's not good enough for the first team. He got 3 goals for Varta in his first season with them. He only made 5 appearances for us. We made a profit of £1.4 million on him. So good, we'll take it. We then sold another player who I'm not sure if you'll have seen, Mohamed Sassi. Hang on. Yeah, these players are leaving, aren't they? Right, yeah. So when did he join? Oh, well, okay, I didn't notice when I'd signed him. But anyway, he's been sold off to Besiktas. That was not my choice. The board accepted a bid of £3.3 million for him. He was very good. Only got 9 appearances for us, though, before he was sold on to Besiktas. But we made a lot of money out of him, so it's nice. We then also sold Dennis Kohan. I don't know if you remember him. He was a goalkeeper I signed. He came in for £150,000, and we sold him for £200,000. He wasn't as good as I thought he was going to be, and again, we don't have enough games, and we're not good enough yet to have like one team for the bad teams and one team for the good teams, which we did for Shlomsk, for example. So yeah, Dennis Kokhan, an unfortunate recipient of that, and has gone out back to Russia. A player who I signed that year, Boris Mladenovic. He's actually currently still on loan, this time with Sheriff Tiraspol. He did very well in Bate. They tried to buy him. He was actually a player who I bought with the intention of just selling straight away. He went to Bate. They had a bid accepted of something like £800,000, but he rejected them. And now, hopefully, at the end of the season, Sheriff will take him off our hands, because he's okay. I mean, I could keep him and could go play him, but he's nothing super special. So that's him. Andre Perez, as I said, is on loan at Sevastopol. He's actually still our player. Oh, no, he's not. Oh, of course, because okay, right. So this is last season. So last season he had a season on loan with this Lithuanian team, didn't play for them, and now has been sold to Sevastopol. Another player who was actually good, Damir Bobic. You'll remember him, the centre back, the Bosnian centre back, who's now currently on loan with Levski Sofia, but we sold him to FK Sarajevo for £1.9 million. Not a bad return, considering he did play two very good seasons for us. In fact, actually, he was a bit of a loss. But the thing is, look, his defending isn't actually that good. He's just very tall. So he went out the door. Chance for other players to step up a little bit. Another player who did the same, Carlos Cortez. He had half a season with us, I think. Oh no, he did. Yeah, he did about half a season. At right back, he was excellent, and then Sheriff Tiraspol came in, and our board accepted a £2.5 million bid, which I think we could have got a lot more for him. We could have got upwards of 10 million, I think, for him, from some stupid Premier League team. But no, the board were hasty. They sold him. So sorry, Carlos Cortez. He was a good player for us, but he's gone. Jose Luis Perez. He was a constant on our right midfield for about 2 or 3 seasons. Yes, he did very well for us without ever being super outstanding, and we sold him for 1 million, which when he was then doubled to 2 million. He's obviously doing well back in Mexico, and never did that brilliantly for us, but did okay. Another player, Cesar Luna. I don't even know if you'll have remembered him. Sam, I think, scouted him for me, and was like, oh, this guy's really good. I signed him. He played 5 games like an absolute drain, and then was sold immediately back to Argentinos for £1.8 million. So, thanks, Sam, you got some money into the club for us. Then there was also Maid Marian. I don't know if you remember him. A fairly decent midfielder who I'd signed from Panduri for free. Sold him on to Universitatea Cluj, who have now sold him back into the Premier League with Iličeviec. But yeah, he's doing well for them. He was never that good for us. So that's a shame, but whatever. Then there was another player, Hector Barreto. He was a player that I remember specifically signing with the intention to sell on. So we signed him for free. He had a couple of appearances, was bad, and then we sold him for 350k. That's the kind of play that I like to see. Then there was Casado, who I mentioned before, a striker who had come in for 1 season, 6 appearances, sold straight away onto Leiria for £1 million. 1.5. There was also Sakibu Abi, a midfielder who you might remember we played sort of as the second fiddle midfielder for us. Sold him on to Gomel in the Belarusian top division for £250,000, where he has excelled. So well done, Sakibu. Then there was Yaya Bamba, who's I think still at the club. Yes, he is, but he's now on loan he went on loan to Alexandria last year, where he did okay and they stayed up. And then he's now on loan with Olympia Bartli, which is a Moldovan team where he's playing very well. So well done, Yaya. Then there was also Radoslav Paripovic, who is a goalkeeper. We signed him for free. We let him go for free. This is just the way things are. Another player, Rafał Tabaczynski. He's got the stats that suggest he should be good, but he was never that good for us. We sold him onto Wisła, and then they sold him straight away onto Piast Gliwice. So fair enough to him. He never that good. Thought we could have got more money for him, really, but nobody really wanted to pay. The Polish clubs were having a bit of a off season, or except for Warta Poznań, who wanted everyone. And then Juan Marcos Bogado, the left midfielder who we had, who was slower than you'd think, but still really good for us. The board again accepted a bid over my head of £2.5 million. So he left. And I think Libertad is, yes, in Paraguay. So he's gone back to Paraguay and has 10 caps. So well done him. We also signed a bunch of players. This is going to take a while, so sorry, guys. But anyway, Lasha Gogwa, I signed him for £500,000 from Zestaponi, are they called? Yeah, Zestaponi in Georgia. He's very good. I'm liking him a lot. He's improving nicely, and he's a decent long player. We also signed back everyone's favourite friend, Gegenidze, who used to play for us way back down here. We signed him on a free then. When we were in the first division, he didn't play that well with us, so we sold him for £250,000. We then sold him for £400,000, where he didn't play very much and didn't play even that well for us when he did play. So we sold him to Alanya in Russia for £625,000. So we've made a profit on him both times. That's fine by me. I didn't realise it was him when I signed him back, because his name is actually not Gegenidze, it's Gedenidze. And then I was like, I used to have a player like that, and looked at his history and realised it was the same guy. Idiot. And then we broke the bank for Krivbas's Wojtek Labant, who is a very good left midfielder for us. He's come in and done exceptionally well this season particularly, but he did well last season as well. Krivbas, pretty mad to sell him, I think. He's a very good player, although they did have, I think, a youngster who was good. We then signed this guy, Boris Ortega, from the Strongest. He's been sort of filling in as our third choice centre-back and doing pretty well. He's maybe not progressing as much as I'd hoped he would, but he's okay, and we'll probably get some money for him eventually anyway. His contract's up in a year, so I'll probably try and sell him this summer. He's not progressed as well as I'd wanted him to. Then we signed Mamute from, where was it? From Bahia for £300,000. He's done very well for us. I do notice that he hasn't improved very much. He is 25. There's every chance that I might sell him this summer. But we'll have to see. For now, we've still got something to fight for, and he's a decent technical player. He's just like slow and not very mentally good. And then another player, a big acquisition from Odessa, who were sort of hemorrhaging money, so I thought I'd help them out. We signed Sebastian Figueredo. It only occurs to me when we're playing with the commentary on that I need to give these guys nicknames, because I've only read that before. I've never said Figueredo, so there you go. Now I realise I need to. Anyway, he's come in from Odessa and had 2 excellent seasons, lots of goals, lots of assists, man of the match. He's a very good player. I should expect that we'll probably field some interest for him, as I think we did over the winter period as well. He would be hard to replace, considering how just technically good he is, so we'll try not to get rid of him. But at the age of 28, it might be that he only has 1 year left with us before we try and cash in. Another player who has been and gone, Ervin Sacco. I signed him. He's really good. There's absolutely no question about it. Came in, did fine, and then we had a bid accepted over our heads by the board again from Sheriff Tiraspol, who bought him for £2.2 million. It wasn't my decision to let him go. He's a very good player. There we go. Then we had this guy who I don't even know who he is. Who the hell? When did we have him? Did I have him on loan? I had him on. Oh, okay. So it says I've had him on loan for 2 years. I think I had him on loan for 1 year. Honestly, I'm not 100% sure why I had him on loan. Maybe it was just as a kind of backup. Anyway, he left. That's a strange one. Then what I'd realised is that we had problems in goal. So I signed this guy, Romeo Yobashvili. He's now looking a little bit worse for wear, but he did very well for us in his first season, 6.86, conceding a fair chunk of goals. But he did much better than the keeper we were having before, and I have since replaced him, so he's now our second choice goalkeeper. But he's still knocking around. I don't want to compare him. Why are we doing that? So he's still knocking around at the club. It came in for £10,000. We probably won't make a profit on him, but we may be able to turn him into a coach or something. Then we brought in Marek Petrick, who's a young player with obvious talent. We sold him for £2.1 million to Trenchin because he's another player who was not quite good enough to play the first team, but is too good to play for the under-21s and got upset with being in the under-21s. So I thought, well, why not make some money off of him? So Trenchin came in, we sold him for £2.1 million. I'll take that. Yeah, I did, because we only sold him for bought him for 275k, so that's fine. Ibrahim Boakie, he's a player who's come in from Timisoara. He's never really done it for us. I mean, he's only played 2 games for us, so it's kind of harsh, I suppose, but he wasn't that impressive. He's now on loan with Gomel again. 2 of our players on loan in Gomel. I've been trying to get rid of him. I basically sort of just signed him to sell him, but nobody's actually wanted to buy him, which is a bit of a shame. They can't all work. It can't always happen. Then there was... Oh, yeah, so then there's Dennis Kohan. That's why you didn't know who he was, because he was only signed that season as well. Sassi Mohammed as well. Yeah, there you go. So there's another one. Then there was this guy, Aneas Yarosevich. He's a decent young midfielder who lots of big clubs in the Premier League have been trying to sign off of me. He's in the under-21s at the moment, and he's on that kind of contract, so that doesn't upset him too much. He's doing... okay, not anything special. We need to work on our facilities a bit, but yeah, a decent little player. At 1.3 Premier League teams were asking for him, so I might try and push him back out the door, get some money in. Then we signed Boris Mladenovic. He's the guy I was telling you about before. Signed him from Tomsk, and he's now on loan with Sheriff Tiraspol, as is basically half of our team. And then there was that Stefan Gnidic, who we sold to Varta Poznan. Rodrigo Saijo, who I think I already mentioned, we sold for £1.7 million. Oh, did I mention that? No, I didn't. Okay, so this is another player that Sam looked and found. Excellent technically, really, really good player. He had 1 great season with us, 16 goals, 7 assists, absolute stunning. That was last season when we finished 7th. He would have, I mean, if he'd stayed, we'd have won the league already, I think, this year. But the point is that the board again accepted a bid of £1.7 million, which, considering he's 30, I thought was a fair enough, really. So off he has gone straight away. He had 1 stellar season with us, and I loved him. Then another player that I brought in on a free, Michał Fabry, a very good centre-back. It's got everything you want, really, and he's been excellent for us. Nothing really more to say. Started at Dukla Prague. Excellent player. Volodymyr Petrenko, then he's a young player, a young striker who, I mean, he's basically in the team for the Ukrainian Cup games. He has scored once for us, I think. He's got himself a cup goal that game. He's got 38 goals in the under-21s. You know, so he's a decent striker, but he's just not good enough at our level. I might be able to sell. He's worth 1.4 million. I might try and sell him, see how much money I can get from him, because he's obviously not going to be good enough. Then another player here, David Mlinaric, who I think we've already sold. We have for £325,000 because he was also bitching and whining about not playing enough. So bye. And then Charlton sent us this fella, Joachim Bundgaard, whose contract was recently up. I did try to sign him on a free. He was decent. I only played him a few games, but he would not come to me, and he re-signed a contract with Charlton in the end. And then we signed and sold a bunch of people. I'll be a bit more I won't do everything. Tinguina went out, we've talked about. Pitbull left on a free. Rojkov left on a free. There's these players who we talked about who've been sold. In fact, all of these players we've talked about already. So yeah, we don't need to go over them. But yeah, we made another 12 million. Last season we made 17 million. This year we actually spent quite a lot of money bringing players in, but a lot of these players are players who are going to be going into the first team, going into the youth team. Although we do have Sergei Golovchenko, who I expect to do well in the defensive midfield position. Kwadwo Twomasi, who has been bitching and whining all season, signed him for probably slightly too much, £400,000. Dicko, I signed for 1.7 million. He's coming in, and he's already been fucking sold by the board for, I think, 3.3 million. So we have made some money on him, but again, he's another player who the board have sort of thrown away from us. It's annoying. This is our new first team goalkeeper, Gizim Tafili. He's a Albanian, has been doing excellently for us. Only conceded 14 goals this season, which is ridiculously good. Other big players, you've got Didi, who came in from Botafogo, who's a midfielder of some note. And anyone else who plays regularly? Oh, Peter Kubitzel, who has come in and has not been good at all, which is sort of depressing. He's not scored as many goals as I would want, but he's a good player, and I think that he will come good. He'll be here next year for sure. So that's that. All of that means that this season we are having an excellent season, right? So we started off, that was last season, so this season round, we started off with a series of 1-0 wins, 2 in fact, Von der Putten and Sebastian Figueiredo, good header from him. We then drew 2 games, which I was a little concerned about, and then we lost against Dynamo Kiev, so that was concerning. But we then went on an absolutely stellar run, 2-0, 1-0, 2-0, 1-0, 5-0 in the Premier League against Gavela, 3-0 in the Ukrainian Cup, 2-0, 2 draws, the Kiev game disappointing, the Shakhtar game a good result because it's Shakhtar. We then beat Karpaty 2-1, and then it was another 2-0 Ukrainian Cup, 3-0, 2-1, 1-1, 1-0, 3-0 against Metalist, which was a very surprising result. And then we came back into the second half of the season already top of the league. We then extended our lead a lot. Dynamo Kiev were beaten 3-0, and then we beat Volyn 3-1, at which point I thought we were going to run away with things, but Chornomorets held us 2-2, and so did Olympic Donetsk, which were both very disappointing games because they were, I think Olympic are bottom and Chornomorets are in the relegation zone. We then lost 3-0 to Dnipro, who are one of the chasing pack, which disappointed me greatly. But we picked things back up with a 3-0 win over Gavela, a 2-0 win over Alexandria, and then another semi-final appearance was booked when we beat Karpaty 2-0 in the Ukrainian Cup quarter-final. We then got our revenge on Arsenal Kiev 2-1, which means that we are in the position where if we win this game against Shakhtar or the next game against Karpaty, we will win the league. So we're going to do that. Let's go. We're going to play Shakhtar. It's away, so we shouldn't really expect to win this game. It might be that we have to settle for a draw, but such is life. So this is the team that's going to play. It's the same team that's been playing in all of our games recently, but possibly different midfield. What do we do? I'm not sure. I'm going to leave Schbach in there. He scored 2 in 2 games. So we're going to leave Schbach in there. He's not the best. Oh, no. I should have started Figueiredo on the right. That was a shame. That's a shame. All right, never mind. We're going to go attacking. We're going to say calmly, come on, lads. And then we're going to assertively say, I think there's a lot more to come from you. I think this is going to be an interesting match. I got told a few games ago that we only need 18 points to guarantee winning the league, which is a great bit of advice from my backroom staff. Oh, Dicko puts the ball wide. And it's an early chance for Lviv. They're playing 4-4-2 as well. That's what I like to see. But they are much better than us. Also, weirdly, hang on. Why has the guy's got an apostrophe at the end of his name? Labant's going to get booked. Weirdly, we've scored hardly any goals this season. We scored a lot more last season, 20 more or something like that. Oh, you're fucking kidding me. This calls for some tea. Right, well, what do we do then? We've got Mahmoud who can go out on the left. Let's go with Von der Putten off, Figueiredo over there, and then we'll swap them around. I know that Florian can't play over there either, but Figueiredo is much more dynamic on the right. So, that's annoying. Doesn't bode well. Lebedev, but we do clear. Guillermo Popo is amazing. He's so good. Scarf, good save from Tafili. They've got 2 strikers up front who I think they've got something like 36 goals between them. So just to keep them out would be good in this game. We might have to score a few goals, which seems unlikely now that we've gone down to 10 already. But you never know. Stranger things have happened. Still shooting towards the non-existent second striker there. Thank you, goalkeeper. Shpak to Nazarenko, Gogwa to Shpak. Come on, boys. A little bit of movement around. The team can, on occasion, play with some verve, but we do get a lot of goals from... Oh, Florian to Dicko. Oh, well. We do get quite a lot of goals from set pieces. We're fairly functional. Oh, come on now. Okay, so Herbert Kwarteng is coming on. He's a decent replacement for Nazarenko. 2 substitutes within the first 25 minutes. That's what we like to see in a top-of-the-table clash. Florian. Oh, you clown. Come on, mate. Come on. Okay, good. I was going to say, I was about to get quite angry. Lebedev puts the ball in the middle. Naj clears. Hernandez. So one disappointment is that Hussein Naj, who is our Egyptian left-back, he had a very poor first season and then has had 2 stellar seasons since, but refused point blank to sign for us again, sign a new contract, and has now joined on a free someone else, which is very disappointing because I wanted to at least get him to re-sign and get me some money, because I tried to then sell him, but then clubs were like, oh, no, wait, we don't have to pay any money for this guy. And, you know... Well, considering the circumstances, 0-0 at half-time is not a bad result, he says, possibly too soon. Oh, dear. Excellent. So Tafili has played some absolute blinders this season. He's made some stunning saves. Kwarteng clears up to Dicko, who nods the ball on to himself. Okay, I'm pleased with how things are going. Assertive, there's a lot more to come from you. I mean, can you really say that, considering we're now down to 10? I'm disappointed with the quality of your finishing. And what finishing? Have we even had a shot? Yeah, oh yeah, that one at the beginning, okay. Ivanenko, oh come on! If you'd pressed him properly there, we could have got through. The sort of level of Brazilians in this league is now, frankly, ridiculous. Like everyone has about 30. Oh, it's gone over the bar. I also checked the real life FC Lviv to see if I was sort of bastardizing their reputation or something by signing loads of foreigners, but the real life roster for their team is like half of on Wikipedia, one column is Ukrainian and the other column is entirely Brazilian, so they don't even go for all these other fancy, it's just Brazilians. So luckily I'm keeping with the spirit of things. In fact, I'm possibly going too far by signing other foreign players. Montano, I've also been doing, so I didn't really go into it because I realised that the selling and buying stage of the video was going on quite a long time. Oh, he was offside. Don't know if he was. But, oh, for God's sake, we've got nothing, have we? Okay. Oh, Shpak's really hurt. Great. It's great. But, yeah, a lot of the acquisitions I've been making are like 15, 16-year-olds or young Ukrainian players who we can then sort of hope to try and build a few Ukrainians into the squad and then make our Ukrainian Cup exploits a little bit better, because since we've had a couple of semi-decent players who are Ukrainian, you've noticed, I'm sure, that our progression through to the latter stages is much more consistent. The first few seasons we barely got past the first round. Now we are able to get to the quarterfinals and semi-finals with fairly good regularity, and that's just with having a couple of youngsters who are actually decent. And I think the reason is like there just aren't that many. There aren't that many Ukrainian youngsters that are good in the game generally, and so unless you're getting a Shakhtar or a Dynamo, you're likely to be playing against a team who also has terrible Ukrainian players playing. Oh, they've had a man off as well. Riabokon. Late chance for a free kick here. Potential. Gogwa's good at free kicks. Oh, Tinguinia. Saves. The ball goes out to Ivanenko, and they're now going to break. Bulzovic. Wow, that we're playing a very high offside line there. Guillermo Pupo puts the ball to Naj. Oh, I don't know. Maybe it's Nagy because he's not Czech. Dicko's through. Dicko crosses the ball in. Sure that went off. Kwarteng Gives it to Gogua. Gogua to Mammoet. Mammoet hits it. Good save from Tinguinia. And we are playing better now that they've gone down to 10. Leonov. Good tackle. Continually going. Fabry clears. They've gone a strange old formation in an attempt to... Oh, Ballswitch has taken out... Oh, my God. Okay, so we haven't got anyone up front anymore. Gogua puts the ball in. Fabry scores! Unbelievable! Unbelievable stuff. Unbelievable stuff. FC Lviv down to 9 men. Have scored an 87th minute winner. Michał Fabry puts the ball into the net, and scenes at the Donbass Arena. 4 minutes of added time. Are we gonna run away with this? There's literally no one ahead of him. The thrower is the person furthest forward. Gogua gets the ball, gives it again. Can he? Can we get a second? Florian, no. Oh, it could have been 2. What on earth is this? Skoff gives it up to Lebedev. They have one last chance to break. Leonov gives it straight to Figueredo, who gives it to Florian. Florian's... Oh my God, have we won the league? We won the league! Unbelievable. What a game. That was amazing. That was not what I expected at all. Beautiful game from Gzimit Tofali. Michał Fabry has scored the winner. Gogua was great. Laban did his best to ruin the game, but at least he'll be fit for our next game. We've lost Dicko to injury. Oh, look at that. Lviv are Ukrainian Premier League champions, finally. Helped out, of course. Yeah, God, look at that. We've qualified for the Champions League. Oh, man, that's amazing. When did I take over them, Ben Wheatland? Profile. Oh, so I've been manager for 5... No, that's not true. I've been manager... Notebook history... since 2057, so it took me 8 years. 8 years? 8 years to win the league. But we have done it. We have gone from second division strugglers to champions of Ukraine. God damn it, Wojciech. Anyway, we qualify for the Champions League for the first time ever. And we enter at the group stage, so we don't even have to qualify. Oh man, that's amazing. Oh, Lviv win the Ukrainian Premier League title. Dicko scoring 11. Then brings glory to Lviv. Let's just check if the one thing that I really care about in this game has happened. I am finally on the favored personnel list. Yes, please. You can go and see a season ticket is £24. Unbelievable stuff. Yes. Lviv board are delighted. Dicko's out for 9 to 11 days. Nazarenko is out for 9 to 11 days. Let's not give him a... They were given a controversial red card. Absolute bollocks. Hey, Masha.
Hello.
Good morning. Masha, come and look. Masha, come and look. Masha, come and look. Masha, come and look. Lviv won the Premier League.
Oh, Benya, you're молодец. I brought you something.
Thank you. Thank you, Masha. Say hi to the guys because I'm recording
Hello,
a video.
guys. I just woke up, by the way.
Masha just woke up. And it's only 11:45.
But we went to sleep early.
We went to sleep very late. We only just got back from America. From America?
Mm-hmm.
From England. I think I will go to this press conference. Once I'm done with this video, Masha, we can maybe go to the shop?
Yes.
Yes. We have to go get some milk and other things. So, close run thing. Well, it wasn't that close run thing, was it? There were a few moments where it was going to slip away from us. Why not? I'm delighted. It was a superb performance. It was a brilliant feeling. Yeah, that was an ugly challenge. There'll be some rotation. No, there's everybody gets a game. Somebody once said you can't win anything with kids, but your title win scores at an average age of 23. Yes, although I suspect that they will all be sold by the board as soon as they get a sniff of them monies. Now, it's good that we won the league and all, but I was kind of hoping we could do it against Karpaty. Because I think if we'd drawn, we would still technically have... if we'd drawn, we would still technically have not won the league, I think. I might be wrong. But, yeah, it would have been fun to have won it against Karpaty, but it is what it is. Ramirez. could lead to him becoming a leading right back. No, it couldn't. Dicko's going to make the Ukrainian Cup semi-final. Oh man, we're going to have an absolutely knackered team. Maran Trabelsi. No. So we've got Karpaty, and then so it's 3. That's a ridiculous run of games. But anyway, 3 days now until we play Karpat, and then we have at least about a week before we get to play Kiev again in the cup. So what I think we'll do, we'll play this one as well, because it'd be fun to play Karpaty. As champions, they'll have to clap us out onto the pitch. That's actually possibly even funnier. The plan will be that if I win the Ukrainian Cup semi-final, I'll record also the final, and maybe we'll do the double, an absolutely sensational situation. Also some fun. I know that this is already a long video, but let's just look at this. Crystal Palace have been relegated from League One, but if we go down one more level, Everton are 7th. It's amazing. Okay. Lviv, good. Attend. No, it's going to be... Yep, everyone keen to get through the tiredness. Yep, okay, whatever. I don't really know. Not really seen that one before. Martin Omodiagbe. Oh, he's their manager, right? I think it's going to be a struggle, but he thinks they're going to beat us, right? Okay. Well, I've already beaten you as manager, because he's a new manager. I think he joined after we'd already beaten them this season. So we've already beaten them, knocked them out in the cup. Oh, wouldn't it be great to have a Lviv final, all Lviv final in the cup one day? That'll probably happen at some point, because Lviv, the other team, are a decent side. It happened quite a lot with Shlonsk. Remember, I think I had 2 cup finals in a row against Zongwambia Lubin, who are Shlonsk's only rivals according to the game. Let's look through what we got here. Super League. Emerson. Giassi. Who's he? He's a right midfielder from Iran. Not had good experience with our midfield, tricksy wingers from Iran in this game so far. We had Bentahami, who left and actually went on to have a decent career also in Ukraine. He did okay. But no, I'm not signing him. He's terrible. If he was 16 maybe, but 20 years of age, not good enough. He's got 9 caps for Iran though. Makes me think I could get 9 caps for Iran in this game. 9 notifications, 9 caps for Iran. And now we get to play Lviv with the number 9 for Miguel von der Putten. Yeah, see, it's all coming together. Right, so we're going to play Pekar on the left, who I'm sure you haven't actually heard of, but we're going to play him anyway. Nazarenko is going to drop out of the team altogether. We'll put... excuse me. We'll put Ortega onto the bench. And then we have to sort out what's going to go up front. So Dicko can come off for Kubitzel. And because I don't... Gomez has been a really good player for us over the years. His contract's expiring now. And I couldn't sell him for money, which has angered me, and therefore I don't want him to play. So we will bring... Petrenko's injured as well. For fuck's sake. All right. Well, fine then, Gomez. You get your place on the bench. Wait. Right midfield. Figueredo. So we're going to play with him on the right. Gomez hasn't even got a number this season. That's how little he's played, i.e. zero games. So it'll be fun to give him a game just so that he can't get the winner's medal. That would be quite hilarious. Come on, everybody. It's the second game in about 4 games against our bitter rivals. Last time we beat them 2-0 away. A lovely headed goal from Pupo and a fantastic, something like 35-yard free kick from Nazarenko. Oh, and Michal Fabre, after 18 seconds, has given away a penalty. Smart move, fella. I don't know why in our stadium we've decided not to bother putting half of the lines in, but it seems to be a running theme in a lot of Ukrainian grounds. Matusek absolutely skies the penalty, and we are let off a little bit there. I was slightly concerned that they were going to spoil our party. We could still get... So we've got how many more games in the league? Just this one and one more. So we could get over 70 points, which would be fun. Mihailo Spak seems to score quite a lot against Karpaty as well. So we could maybe see a goal from him in this one. He scores some absolute belters. They're always 30-yard screamers whenever he scores. Naj to Gogwa. Gogwa's keep going. He's still going. Spak gives it to Naj. And now Kopetsky's got it. And has been tackled by Pupo. Beautiful stuff. Tvekeladze. Yeah, he needs a name. Spak puts the ball in, but Mikhaev holds 7 minutes in. It's been a busy first half. Alate, Blazek, Bogac. So it's been a while since I've done one of these commentaries. Oh, they've scored. 3 cheers for Ramirez. It's been a while since I've done one of these, and so I've sort of forgotten how to do it. It's mostly about talking, as far as I've noticed. But the things that are going on the pitch are not that exciting. We're losing 1-0. Although we've come back a lot this season. We've done a lot of little comebacks from behinds. Oh, that could have been it. Spak. Oh, that's the kind of area he's deadly from, just outside the D. And he powers them straight in. It's beautiful. Svakaridze puts the ball in. Fabry, this time round, is not able to score the winning goal for us from the header from a corner. But it's fine. Is this going to be classic, after the Lord Mayor's show? They're playing a lot better than they played. What formation are they playing this time around? 4-4-2 again. So this is basically the same team that they're playing. Naj out to Kubitzel. Spak. Oh, tipped over from Mikhaev. Good ball in, but Fabry wasn't able to get there. Kwarteng puts it straight back out. Is that guy's name Bruno? Oh no, Biro. Oh. There was a disappointing moment when I realised that one of the youngest Ukrainian proper good talents has come through at Karpaty, and they will not ever let me sign him. And he doesn't ever want to join because he's obviously a Karpaty fan, so he wouldn't want to cross the city divide. So there's no chance of getting him unless he leaves to somewhere else first. Spak absolutely wildly smashes that over. We are clearly the better team, though, I think. They've had a couple of breakaway chances, including their goal, but we are definitely building the play nicely. Kubitzel, you're technically very good. I also, by the way, for next season, I have signed some players already who are coming in, and one of whom is an excellent striker who will hopefully solve some of our goal-scoring issues, because we have, on occasion, suffered from not being able to score enough goals. Kubitzel puts the ball in the middle. Oh my God. We're so sort of wasteful up front. We have so many opportunities where we could have scored. A lot of the draws, even some of the quite heavy losses, if we just had a decent striker who could have put the ball in the net on a regular basis, we'd have done okay. Karpat, they're happy. I'm going to tell them that I expect to see a much better showing, and then I'm going to calmly say, but there's a lot more to come. With Kubitzel, it's one of those things where you hope that once he scores, he'll just go on a little run. So far, that hasn't happened. He did score quite. I think he might have even scored on his debut, which then puts the rest of it all into a bit of a joke. But he's a good player. He just doesn't show it. Miguel van der Putten out to Gogwa. Van der Putten's a good player as well. I think all of my first team I had bids for in January. Some of them the board didn't accept, so I've been lucky with that, I suppose. Spak, another wasteful chance. So what are we going to do? We're going to bring on Florian. No, we're not. We're going to bring on Figueredo. We're going to leave Feller up top. We're going to have to take Spak off. And we'll give Carlos Gonzalez a game because he's very good, even though he's not very good. Here we go. A triple substitution. Let's make our lives a living hell if our lives mean the lives of our opponents. Von der Putten goes for a shot. Mahmout gives it out to Figueredo, who hits over the bar. Figueredo has popped up with some very important goals this season. I think there's 2 or 3 1-0 wins, which were goals from him. Like, weirdly, for a right winger, he's quite good in the air, and he scores. I think he scored 3 headers, which have just about sort of crept over the line. Kubitzel, Mikhaev keeps him out. Who's taking this then? Mahmout. Outswinging corner. Doesn't quite get to him. Puts it back in. Nope. Papo to Naj. Oh, it's an absolute belter of a hit, but it goes well over the bar. A disappointing effort. We're looking much better than them. Come on. Come on. Oh, they've scored a second. Lukyanov comes on. I was actually interesting. I didn't say it, but I was thinking just when, because he just came on as a replacement for an injured player, and I was going to say one of the things that we have is decent substitutes, which I think quite a lot of the teams in our league don't have, because we're maybe the 5th or 6th highest wage budget behind the big clubs, basically. But I've obviously got the human ability to get to young players who are decent. Oh, that's a shame. 3rd defeat of the season to Karpat. But there we go. And anyway, it means that they often bring on players who are no good. But in this situation, their player has just got a fantastic free kick. So, fair enough to him. But yeah, they did well. Fair enough to them. We'll allow them that. They have their fun. 2-0 at the home of the champions. We'll allow it. Bradford have been relegated from the Premier League. Dagenham and Redbridge have been promoted back to the Premier League. Barnet have been relegated from the Championship. Crawley have been promoted to the Championship. Carlisle are going to be in the playoffs. Kidderminster are also going to be in the playoffs. Bristol Rovers have gone down. That's good. Hinckley are in League 2. Oh, Western-super-Mare, by the way, they went up. They stayed up for 2 seasons. They're now 20th in the Championship. It's all going wrong over at Wheatland Park. Look at that. It's very disappointing. Wheatland Park, what a legend. Right, anyway, that's the end of that. We have finally won the Ukrainian Premier League. FC Lviv, Premier League champions. Look at that. 64 points. We've got the chance to win 3 more points when we play Sevastopol, who are 15th. And will be fighting for their lives, so it might be that we don't, they might be actually up for it for once. But if they are, or if they are not, it doesn't matter. Our most important thing is the Ukrainian Cup semi-final against Arsenal Kiev, who are, where are they? Mid-table. So we can play them, and then hopefully we get to the Ukrainian Cup final, and that's where I'll see you. If not, I'll see you at the beginning of the next season for some going over of players and some Champions League fun, hopefully. So, see you in the next one, guys. Bye, 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 bye.